welcome to the Seth and Beth podcast. Beth, you're chipper today. How are you? I mean, I know.
I'm wonderful.
I joke around on some other podcasts that I'm on, and I always say, hey, how are you? Even though we just spoke 30 seconds before we started this footage. But it's great to see your smiling face as always.
My name is Seth.
And my name also is Seth, which makes the podcast title very strange. There's this weird Beth person. And I'm Beth. How are you?
Great.
I'm off the wall today.
I know.
I'm excited.
I think it's that new beard straightener. Oh my gosh. Your beard does look amazing. I think it's really working.
Beth, Beth turns me on to a lot of hair grooming products. So if you are a male out there and some beards are just all over and they're gross, they look like rat's nets, and I excuse me, I didn't want that, of course. So I got to crank the sex appeal way up, Beth, with this beard.
It is cranked. It's on 11 out of 10. My friend Barbie, she wrote me a message commenting on your Instagram story. I put a little Instagram story about you.
And my beard straightener?
And she said, I could watch it all day. It's like watching rain come down windows.
Mesmerizing, isn't it?
Oh, she loves it.
If you're watching this for the first time, you might be thinking, who are these two people? We are a married couple in Columbus. We've been photographing weddings for about 8 years now. And our number count's getting up there. It's like 180 weddings. I never thought we'd ever do that. One of the main questions we get from potential clients in this world, whether they hire us or not, is should we have a videographer? And I know the wedding industry has a bunch of different opinions, and a bunch of people have a bunch of different opinions on this. We hear either side of the gamut. Some people are absolutely getting one. Some people give us a bunch of reasons why they're not getting one. I know you and I are enormous fans of this.
Yeah.
And have always been.
Right. We had one.
We are, I love movies in general. We've partnered with Fundy Software, which makes our albums. And there's been a shift, I think, in wedding photography, Bethy.
It's the software that makes our albums.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The software that helps us make our albums with our clients. But the shift is that really the idea of telling your story has become a big thing. Hashtag storyteller is very big. And this mindset sort of switched for us when we started not thinking of ourselves as button pushers, but really storytellers.
That's right.
And it
really changed our whole philosophy on shooting weddings.
Tell me more.
Well, we used to think about more about capturing images. We got to take the pictures. We were taking pictures. We're not taking pictures. We're telling this story of two people's day. And that's what we're doing, using a camera. And we use pictures to help tell the story. And that's why we love videography, because it's another way you can tell the story. It's another way you can tell the story.
Yeah. That's well put, even when you put it twice. Yes. I do that too. That's a great rap. And that's all I have to say about that. No, I do that too, baby. It's so funny. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, I've since realized that taking one picture, a picture can say 1,000 words, but the other pictures around that photo can also help tell an amazing story. Out of context photos with perhaps a reveal with dad or a first look with your groom, they might not tell the whole story.
I see what you're saying, like how we design using Fundy, design our albums. It's not about just putting a picture of you dancing with your dad, your groom's dancing with his mom, you guys are dancing together. There's a story leading up to all those photos. And that's how the album should be designed. But it's also, again, why I love video so much. It's just it's a complete way to tell a story.
So I want to be very clear on what our opinions are with videography. Obviously, Beth and I love it. We had one ourselves. And when people ask us to get it, we say yes. But I also want to be very clear about the perception of what videography can be. I don't even actually like the term videography.
Right.
The new term now is cinematography, and it's absolutely true. There are wide-ranging varying differences in this world of someone who takes a video of your day and a true cinematographer that makes that tells your story in like a movie format, and they're just so different. I didn't know this beginning, and after all these weddings, I now see them. I would say a videographer is someone who's going to just document what's in front of them, usually in chronological order, and it's basically moving pictures, especially if they don't tie in like sound effects or the sound from the day. Which, let me tell you guys, like guys and gals, like now that we've dabbled in video, collecting sound, the shows you're watching on Netflix, like most of the time my jaw is just on the floor. Just simply connecting sound with video in this world is like a whole nother level. So when these cinematographers come to your wedding, the really talented ones, which we have more information about that, of course, but these really talented ones.
We have a little surprise about that, actually.
Teaser. Beth is teasing. Yes, we do have an incredible surprise, groundbreaking for our business.
It is.
And which is why this was one of the topics. But we'll get to that in a smidge. But yes, really, cinematography, I tell people it's almost a difference of watching a movie like Shawshank Redemption and then watching a very boring documentary on the History Channel. The documentary is chronologically telling us what happens and not necessarily telling us the emotion of what the people are doing in that series. But a true cinematographer can take your dad's toast about how he overcame cancer and how he, on his bed in the hospital, he wanted to be at that day, and interlace that story and his voice over other images from the day. And you know what wedding I'm talking about.
Of course.
Caitlin and Matt's at the Westin. But and this goes along with the idea of that your photographer and your cinematographer, they have to actually know you. They have to talk to you, and they have to talk to your parents to know.
I just got goosebumps even just thinking about that toast. You know, like I captured the photos of her dad. So the story that Seth is talking about is Caitlin's dad getting him through cancer and going through the fight and the battle. What got him through it was the idea of his little girl someday getting married, and standing there and saying that speech. That moment is what got him through cancer. And if you don't have video, you don't ever have that moment of your dad making that amazing toast to you. Another one that I always think about is April's parents. April was adopted, and they got up, and it took such guts, you know, like it. I don't know if I would be able to do it. I would just be a sobbing mess. I'm getting kind of emotional just talking about it. But like them just talking about like adopting April and how proud they are and thankful for her adoptive parents to give them this baby and this gift, and that they've been waiting for this moment for her to find the love of her life, and for them to now give their gift and make their family grow.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many stories like this. You know, actually, this album in front of me is from Angela and Mark, and I always tell this interesting story because I don't know how it came up in a toast, and it was so touching because apparently Angela has a twin sister, but she's adopted. But her folks...
They're both adopted.
They're both adopted, of course. But their folks did not know they were getting two babies until a week before they got them.
They thought they were just adopting a baby from another country. And
Colombia. And so they told them, well, do you want two babies? And so it was just an interesting story. And it's told in photos, obviously. But if it's important to you to hear... and I think that must be me, Beth, because some of our clients don't want a cinematographer there. But for me especially, it's important for me to hear, like, music's important in my life, and it might not be very important to some other folks.
Right.
Visual is incredibly important to me.
I see, right.
Colors. And so, like, I guess I wrote down some notes of why I thought it was so important. Like, the idea of a video is you probably have to define as a bride and groom, obviously, what's important to you. So I would love for this podcast to maybe help you educate you on things you might not know. And the reason I say that is because Beth and I have been through so many weddings, and I'll go back to this for the rest of time. And we've been married 15 years. We've lost a parent, which is my dad, and we've become parents to our 2 boys who are getting off the bus here very soon. And so all of these have shifted our mindset from being maybe that 24-year-old go-get-em photographer out of art school that may not know any of this stuff or know any different. But for us, obviously, it's important. I just wrote down, what does it mean to you, and what does it meant to us, and the video for us is always been so important. My folks weren't documented in it enough, and then I look back 15 years later and think, what could it possibly I pay to have my dad talking and laughing on a film? It's just like, it's something you can't even put a number on. You know,
to even capture some of his mannerisms and your guys' relationship and
absolutely
the love and support he had for you, right?
Absolutely. So I remind folks, like, if you're contemplating videography, I sometimes break this down with a photo session and say the same thing. This is most likely the only video you may ever have of your parents.
A professional video.
Because
now we have all these iPhone videos, but what do we do with those videos? We get a new phone. Our phone dies. We don't ever have those videos again. And we're
iTunes crashes.
iTunes crashes.
Hard drives crash.
But this is a captured video, and I mean, maybe you never have that.
Yeah, you probably don't. I mean, I know we even had a video and we don't. And so I would kill, because as I move on in life, I'm already forgetting the way he sounded, the way he felt, the way hugging him felt. Like it's actually, I tell Beth all the time, it kind of saddens me that I'm forgetting his laugh. The other thing that we always laugh about is our kids are so intrigued with not only our wedding, but who was in our wedding, what happened,
and how they change.
Yeah, what these people looked like back in the day. And we're lucky enough that most of the people, if not every single one of the people who are in our wedding, we're still very, very close with, right, and probably talk to in a span of 2 weeks. And so that's just awesome. But the idea that photography and cinematography can really tell your wedding story to people who aren't even on earth yet.
Right.
And the power of that is when it's boiled down to maybe a budget number or a price range, it's just I just wish every young person knew that it's just worth its weight in gold. It's just, it really is an investment. You're putting money in.
It's an investment.
So that's something that can grow in value. Yeah, it's going to grow and accumulate value over time. And I say this all with our clients. It relates back to getting an album. What would you pay for your grandma's wedding video? What would you pay for an album of you know what I mean? Yeah. The closest, oh my God, Beth. On Facebook today, one of my cousins pulled up a wedding from probably 1979. It was shot on a Super 8 film. Uncle Chuck, my dad's cousin. And sure enough, unbelievably, my grandma Baba, my grandma from Hungary, who came over to the States in 1913 when she was like 14 years old, she's in this video. It just got dug up. He transferred it over, and so I've been meaning to show you that because I have not seen this woman. I can't
wait to see that.
I have not seen this woman in my life since like 1988. So I have this,
I've only seen like one picture.
Yeah. So anyway, so
can we tell them some news now? Our breaking, surprising news.
Well, sure, Beth. Go ahead.
Okay, so Seth and I are super excited. You can see how passionate we are about the purpose of having video. Well, we will be this year collaborating and forming a business, a company with another video team here in Columbus.
So we've always been enormous fans.
And becoming one.
Well, we've been enormous fans of Little Tree Studios. I would measure up. Steve and Kyle are Little Tree Studios. They do wedding photos. We're going to do weddings together. But they specialize in really true cinematography, making stories out of weddings. We have friends all over the country, from New York to California and Canada, and I would absolutely put their work up against anyone in the business, whether it's luxury or, they're absolutely astounding. I'm shocked that they want to work with us, but we do so many weddings together anyway, and we refer them Steve, we were sort of having a funny phone call and said, why don't we just do this together? And I've been waiting for them to ask for years. And so we were just really, really stoked that we can finally offer photo and video that runs in conjunction with themselves.
Right.
And we work seamlessly together. We watch their videos and always have. You end up tearing up at a couple you don't even know. And then when we do work together, we end up seeing our photos in motion in slow motion with Dad's speech or the best man's speech overlaid on top of it. And I always laugh. We're never in any each other's footage. I forget that you and I were there when I watch it. It's hilarious. So yeah, but that's our news. So we're going to be moving toward sort of a rebrand in the future, and we're going to keep all of our loyal fans who have always been very supportive, and we're thank you for that. We're going to keep you all in the know about where we're going with that, but it's truly exciting. But I wanted to get that out there. The idea of, when you hire someone to do video, it has to be more than just moving pictures.
Right.
They have to focus on your story. And if they don't take the time to know your story, they might not be the best. They might not be the best person to document it. So, I relate wedding cinematography to like this, Beth. I wrote down this idea that when you watch a documentary, sometimes it can even be considered boring. But then all of a sudden you watch a documentary like The Blue Planet. And it's interesting, but it becomes incredibly more interesting when they follow the lives of a character. And sure enough, we find ourselves watching a penguin mate and give birth. And we watch maybe the good parts that happen or the bad parts that happen, what they overcome, what their story can be. And it's funny as you can create.
I want to watch this right now, just you describing.
Well, right, because we just
love.
watched that Netflix show, and it's like, remember the birds that they fly out. They mate once a year, and they come and they go to the exact same net. It's not till you have characters, you define those characters and what they're going through, whether it's good or bad, that a story then gets interesting.
Right.
So I would totally say, guys, if you're looking at a videographer, number one is look toward us, and number two is, if not us, just make sure that you're not hiring someone that just does that can't really define a story. Your photos will help show the day, and photo and video will help show the feel. So you had some tips to write down, Beth. What are your take home messages about video?
Well, you know what, Seth, you and I do. I mean, I just think that we think alike about this topic, so we have similar things.
So we wrote these notes down, not knowing. We just wrote these notes down. It's sort of like
one of those like relationship tests,
Okay.
I'm gonna write down 5 things that I love about. It's 5 advantages of having cinematography document, and then you're gonna write 5, and then we're gonna compare, and we have pretty similar thoughts.
What'd you write down?
Well, one thing, I love being in love with you.
Okay, I love that.
And I love watching, that's one reason why I love being a wedding photographer, is I love seeing people in love. I love it so much. And seeing what Kyle and Steve do in their cinematography videos, just the way they communicate their love and another way to communicate love. It's just, every time it brings me to tears. I always reflect about you and I think about our beautiful marriage and our wonderful children. But I don't know. I love love, and I love all communications of love. That was one thing I wrote down. Pictures with purpose.
Pictures with purpose. It's the same thing, yeah. Video with purpose and pictures with purpose.
Pictures with purpose, video with purpose. It's not just having video, but it's video with purpose. And the purpose of cinematography is to tell the story of the day properly.
Well, I sort of equate it to this. Weddings are very similar in this world. 2 people get dressed, they stand in front of their friends and family, and they say some words, they kiss, they go to dinner, they dance.
You put in some drone shots, you put in some makeup shots, and you kind of got yourself. That's a template way to capture a day.
So we're gonna have
no storytelling.
We're gonna have Steve and Kyle on the. We're gonna have Steve and Kyle on the podcast in the future about and get their words on videography. But yeah, they get frustrated when they see other video teams when they follow the blueprint and they put your story, your wedding day story, in the blueprint of drone shot of the barn, zoom in on makeup, cut to groom fixing his buttons, cut to the
makeup
room.
artist dabbing it.
And so
that's everyone's story. What is your story?
But as we know, every wedding is so incredibly unique. Those interactions with the girls, interactions with your mom. It's funny, Beth. We always laugh how. I don't mean to say laugh, but I always think about this. Like, we have weddings where maybe a dad is not alive or a mom has passed, and we have some of those coming up this year. And inevitably, because of that bad thing, the relationship between the bride or groom and the last parent is strengthened. And we talk about this with my mom because dad's been gone for 13 years now, is we have to make an extra effort to show off that relationship that's there. And it's just so strong on the wedding day. I just love seeing it. I see myself, and it's just funny. It's kind of like the way I say it's funny is it's given me a gift by losing something in my life. We talk about this all the time, that you and I have this different perspective on how to tell someone else's story.
Right.
That the bride and groom's parents become our parents for one day of the year. They're our parents.
Right.
And
these are their children.
Yeah, these are their children.
You're not just the mom of the bride.
Absolutely.
Like, this is your child that's getting married. And I love knowing that and looking for mom's expression and the way she's going to express herself as she sees her daughter getting her dress or putting the jewelry on and walking down the aisle. Like, I look forward to seeing her expression and then telling that story of her mom giving her baby away.
Absolutely. I think, so I tell folks, so where do we go from here, Beth? What I'm trying to say is, I think wedding clients boil down getting a videographer. In my mind, it usually comes down to some sort of budget concern. And if I could say anything, after all of these years, losing parents, having children, being married to this beautiful woman for as long as we have.
You're cute.
If I could say anything, is that like, there's no money in the world that's going to get your dad's voice back.
Right.
Or a moving journey that was your first dance, where it might not mean someone to something, but maybe it means a lot to your dad.
Right.
There's just no money in the world for the rest of time. For the rest of my life, there's no money that's going to get my dad back and get his laugh back. And so I don't obviously, no one wants to live with regrets, but I just hope that you might be able to take that into account. I know weddings can be a financial hit with everything. We've seen what the venue, we've seen venues and all the decisions that have to be made.
Right.
But it's just astounding that it really is astounding what a great cinematographer can do to tell your story. And I can't imagine there's many of our clients who've gotten great video and regretted it, regardless of cost.
Right.
And so yeah. So that was my thoughts on the topic, babe. What do you think?
Well, I think you're awesome.
I think you are too.
Let's wrap this up.
Thank you for listening.
It's been another great podcast.
It has. We are going to continue. We have so much in store for our listeners, potential clients, new clients, old clients, everyone who's been a fan of our work.
Tell us what you want to see, though. Comment below and tell us, like, what are some ideas? Like, what would you like to see? We have our ideas, but what are yours? We'd love to help
Absolutely.
You get some clarity on some topics that you'd like to know about. We're going to bring in some other photographers.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in Steve and Kyle. We're going to bring in some planners. And we're
also going on location to...
We're going on location to so many different venues. And
our goal is to highlight...
Northeast Ohio, Central Ohio, we're all over the place.
Yeah, where our goal is to look at some venues and tell us why we love them and let them tell tell you what they love about their venue so you guys can make some more educated decisions. I know Beth and I both know, we've always heard how confusing it is and how tough it is to plan. And so, much like on our wedding days, we want to be one of the best parts of your day. And so we're hopefully using the guidance and experience that the experience that we've got over these years to maybe help people make some more informed decisions. So with that said, follow us at sethandbeth.com. The blog can be, or the podcast,
Steve and Kyle at
LittleTreeStudios.com. Or LittleTreeStudio.com, one of those. Just look them up on Google. There's a thing called Google, Beth, Google.com.
Oh.
Yeah, check it out.
All right.
So follow us. Thanks for the love. And it was great talking to you, Bubby.
Peace out, homies.
Peace out.
I don't know that.
Love you. Bye, babe.
Bye, babe.